I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Lane, you should pipe in on that one.
On
And
California,
also
dude,
Clayton, you should pipe in on that. Clayton, you should pipe in on that if you're still in the chat.
I
He
feel
he-
like, all right, so this is, I think a lot of the problems in this country stem from, so, okay, if you go back even 50 years,
Mm.
the parties weren't so much conservative and liberal each,
Right.
right? Like inside the Republican Party and inside the Democratic Party, there were liberals and conservatives. Now, one skewed more one way and one skewed more the other, but there was a wide breadth between the two parties, like inside the two parties of conservative and liberal. They were more focused around like discrete regional interests than sort of like national ideologies. And then we go to this place where we have this sort of national ideology, but it's mostly just corporate money sort of putting up a facade, right? So this is like if I had to, I think, I don't know who, like, not enough people watch this, they know. Like, I have a massive problem with both parties. I would not consider myself either. There are some things that I'm conservative about and some things that I'm liberal about. Some things where I think the Constitution speaks pretty hard truth, and some things where I'm like, well, that probably changed enough that we should reevaluate what that is. But, you know, the process of changing the Constitution is necessarily slow. That I agree with.
Right.
But the Democrats are like standing in front of everybody. And I think they mean well. And they're like, we're doing it right. So we're just going to keep living under this ideology and telling all of you that you're wrong, rather than addressing interests of majority. They're trying to persuade the majority to follow them. And for, you know, every once in a while they're successful. But for the most part, the country's like, no, that's stupid. Conservatives have a different problem. I shouldn't say conservatives. The Republican Party has a different problem. They're standing in front of everybody, saying all the right things, speaking about populist interests and speaking to the majority and acting like there's a majority coalition. But they're just lying. They're like, oh, no, we're going to tell them all this. And then we're just going to go over here and keep all the money for ourselves. Like, we're just going to do these things. We just don't say it out loud. Like, neither party is honestly addressing the needs of the country. One party's like, come with us over here or else. And the other country's like, no, we're going where you're going. But they're not.
So they're just blowing fairy dust and sunshine up our asses.
Rainbows and unicorns, baby.
Rainbows and unicorns.
Well, isn't it also like the massive amount of misinformation floating around these days?
Oh, because that was always the case.
But isn't it worse now?
Well, it's worse now in that there's no void. When it was newspapers and, you know, a once a night news broadcast, national news broadcast, there was a void, so people were forced to fill it in, and enough people put in the time to research what that meant. They had some idea of what was going on. Now, you don't have to work to fill into the void. You can just go on, like, whatever random shitty news, like, national news channel you want, or any part of YouTube or X, or take your pick.
Right.
And fill it in with someone's point of view that is probably ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also, by the way,
Gansberg.
Look at that.
I didn't even see it on camera. I knew it was coming.
German
I just see
beer.
Zeeberg.
So sorry. Oh, Gansberg. There we go. Let me turn it around. There, that's even better. Okay. Gansberg, made by tiny Cambodian hands.
The German beer.
Yeah, I mean, I
Cambodia.
honestly think our country would be better off if national politicians were more regionally selfish, because their interests don't align with other people's interests. And if they just go back to fighting for their communities, we'd be better off.
Clayton,
These sort
you
of
should
like,
pipe up in the. You should pipe up in the about.
Did you hear about the app that is about to launch?
no, which app?
The one this guy just put like 17 million in it, but it's supposed to track the trades that politicians are making.
Oh, it's already done.
This is a newer one though.
Okay.
That's like launching apparently. was like, oh, that might be kind of an interesting app to pay attention to.
I mean, we absolutely. There's a couple laws we need to pass. First is term limits on Congress and the Senate. Period.
Right.
Full stop.
Didn't they put that one up for?
They always do.
Vote.
It never goes anywhere.
Got it.
And the other one is a prohibition on self-dealing. Like, you shouldn't be able to trade stock if you're making decisions that regulate the companies for which the stock belongs.
I thought that's what the FEC was for.
No. So insider information is different and generally doesn't apply to Congress because Congress doesn't have insider information from the company. They have insider information about what laws are going to pass to regulate the companies, not self-dealing.
I feel like that's the same.
It's not.
I feel like
should be.
Under the law, it is not the same.
Look here, legally, I don't need this. That's the same shit. That's bullshit.
This is my other problem with Elon Musk. A lot of the things that he's like, this is a terrible idea. It's a regulation that will make his company, 3 times more profitable. I can't imagine why you think that,
Golly,
sir.
I can't imagine that. What do you mean?
I mean, it's I think that with 100% certainty, the American government, at least parts of it, have needed to be audited for so long that it's ridiculous.
No.
Now, whether or not the way it's happening now is the correct way, I'm not going to attest to, but
Listen,
I will say that it was necessary.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it might be that Elon Musk is the person or a person that can audit the processes of the government, but he should not also be able to execute policy. Like, they need to be separate, right? So here's my problem with Elon, right? To create SpaceX, how many rockets has he blown up? 80?
A couple.
90?
Like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
We blew
I
up
don't actually know.
one rocket on a landing pad, and it almost ended the space program. Like, the government doesn't get the same failure rate as companies. And until he learns that, he is creating great risk.